Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Part 1, The Hook and Mysterious Opening *The Jungle Breathes. A symphony of cicadas, a distant gibbon call, the rustle of unseen life. But tonight there was a different sound. A heavy, methodical tread, unlike any animal I'd ever heard. My heart hammered against my ribs, a drumbeat in the humid Indonesian night. The air grew thick with an earthy, musky scent. Then a low, guttural chuff, close by, too close. I froze, every nerve screaming, my flashlight beam cutting a frantic swathe through the inky blackness. What stood before me, silhouetted against the dense foliage, wasn't a bear, wasn't an ape I recognized, and it certainly wasn't human. Its eyes, catching the faint glow, held a primal intelligence, a deep, unsettling wisdom. This was no ordinary creature. This was something that defied definition, a phantom of the forest, a living ghost from another time. It watched me, unblinking, before melting back into the shadows as silently as it had appeared. Was it a trick of the light? A hallucination born of fear and exhaustion? Or had I just come face to face with one of the most elusive and enigmatic beings on Earth? The question lingers. What if the myths aren't myths at all? What if the legends whispered in the Sumatran rainforest hold a terrifying truth? Tonight, we journey into the heart of Sumatra to chase the shadow of the Orang Pendek, a mystery primate whose existence could rewrite the very textbooks of primatology. We'll delve into shocking eyewitness accounts, examine compelling physical evidence, and uncover revelations that challenge everything you think you know about the wild corners of our world. Stay with us because the truth, if we find it, is far stranger than fiction. Part 2, setting the stage. Imagine, if you will, the island of Sumatra. Not the bustling cities or the tourist resorts, but the deep, untamed interior. A place where ancient rainforests cling to volcanic slopes, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and exotic blossoms, and where towering trees form a canopy so dense it filters the sunlight into ethereal shafts. This is a land of incredible biodiversity, home to tigers, elephants, rhinos, and some of the last wild orangutans on Earth. But beneath that verdant canopy, in the shadows of steaming volcanoes and along the banks of winding rivers, another legend thrives. A legend whispered by generations of indigenous people, a tale passed down through firelight and folklore. They speak of a creature that walks upright like a human, yet is covered in short, dark fur. A being of immense strength but gentle demeanor, shy and rarely seen, but undeniably present. They call it the Orang Pendek, the short person of the forest. The stories of the Orang Pendek are not new. For centuries, the Karinsai people, who live in the highlands of Sumatra, have revered and sometimes feared this mysterious bipedal creature. Their oral traditions describe it as a small, powerfully built hominid, typically standing between 3 to 5 feet tall. Its arms are said to be long and muscular, its hands large and its posture erect, much like a human. But its face, though somewhat flattened, is decidedly ape-like, framed by a mane of dark hair that often extends down its back. Locals often speak of its incredible agility, its ability to navigate the treacherous jungle terrain with ease, and its unsettling habit of vanishing without a trace. These aren't just fantastical beasts in their mythology. They are a very real, albeit elusive, part of their natural world, a creature they coexist with, even if rarely. The Western world's encounter with the Orang Pendek began in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when Dutch colonialists, exploring and exploiting the island's rich resources, started hearing these persistent tales. Skeptical at first, many soon found themselves confronting the unsettling possibility that these weren't just superstitions. Planters, prospectors, and explorers, hardened by years in the wilderness, began to report their own sightings. These were not naive locals, but often pragmatic, scientific-minded individuals who found their understanding of the natural world challenged. They described encounters that mirrored the local legends, adding a layer of credibility that was hard to ignore. The initial reports were often dismissed as misidentifications of orangutans or gibbons, but the distinct bipedal gait, the human-like stature, and the unique morphology described by witnesses began to build a compelling, albeit frustratingly unproven, case for an unknown primate. This wasn't just folklore. It was starting to look like a genuine biological mystery, a shadow lurking just beyond the reach of scientific classification. The stage was set for a century of thrilling, often terrifying, encounters. Part 3. The deep investigation. As the 20th century dawned, reports of the Orang Pendek began to filter out of Sumatra with increasing frequency, catching the attention of those beyond local villages. These were not casual campfire tales. They were often detailed accounts from individuals whose lives depended on their keen observation skills in the wild. Consider the chilling testimony of a Dutch settler named Mr. van Herwarden, who, in 1923, recounted an encounter near a coffee plantation. He described a creature about 5 feet tall, covered in dark hair, with a broad chest and powerful shoulders, walking upright. Crucially, he noted its human-like gait and its surprisingly mild, almost curious, expression before it quickly moved away. He was an experienced outdoorsman, not prone to flights of fancy, and his conviction was unwavering. Then there's the extraordinary account from a woman named M. DeWitt, who in 1927 described seeing an orang pendek from a distance of just 5 yards. She detailed its short, dark fur, its erect posture, and its seemingly human-like hands and feet. The creature, she said, was gathering roots and leaves with remarkable dexterity. It paused, looked directly at her, and then calmly moved off into the undergrowth, leaving her stunned and profoundly affected. What makes her account particularly compelling is the level of detail regarding its physical characteristics and behavior, consistent with many other sightings. These early European accounts, often published in colonial newspapers and scientific journals, were significant. They indicated that the phenomenon wasn't confined to local cultural beliefs, but was being experienced by outsiders as well, people with different frames of reference, yet describing the same enigmatic entity. The consistency across these disparate testimonies began to weave a narrative thread that was hard to ignore. It suggested not a series of misidentifications, but a genuine, albeit deeply shy, creature inhabiting these remote jungles. But the mystery wasn't confined to the past. Fast forward to the late 20th century, and the jungle whispers continued, leading to more focused expeditions. In the 1990s, the name Debbie Martyr emerged as synonymous with the modern search for Orang Pendek. British conservationist and writer, she spent years living and working in the Karinsai Seblat National Park, one of the most biodiverse and rugged regions of Sumatra. She was initially a skeptic, attributing the local stories to superstition or misidentified animals. However, her numerous interviews with locals, park rangers, and even her own unforgettable encounters began to chip away at her skepticism. Martyr documented multiple sightings, often describing the creature as smaller than an orangutan, with powerfully built arms, a short neck, and a bipedal stance. She recounted a particular encounter where she saw an orang pendek at close range. It was digging for roots with incredible strength, a thick mass of dark hair on its head and shoulders. She emphasized its striking human-like hands and feet, and the way it moved with an almost ethereal grace through the dense forest. Her descriptions resonated deeply with the older colonial accounts, creating a profound sense of continuity in the mystery. Her colleague, wildlife photographer Jeremy Holden, also had a harrowing encounter that solidified his belief. While trekking, he came across a set of distinct, non-human footprints, undeniably bipedal, with a wide, splayed toe pattern, unlike any known primate in the region. The excitement was palpable. These weren't just stories anymore. This was tangible evidence, left behind in the soft forest earth. It was a moment that transformed a long-held belief into a tangible, scientific pursuit. What could leave such a print? A creature walking upright, yet not human, not ape as we know it. The evidence was piling up, but the creature itself remained maddeningly out of reach. We were getting closer, but every revelation seemed to pose more questions than answers. The jungle held its secrets tight, but it was slowly, grudgingly starting to reveal them. And what they revealed was truly astonishing. Part 4. The turning point. The search for Orang Pendek has been a long and arduous journey, fraught with dead ends and tantalizing glimpses. But there are moments, pivotal moments, when the sheer weight of evidence shifts, turning speculation into a plausible reality. For the Orang Pendek, one such turning point came with the discovery of a series of remarkable footprints. It was during one of Debbie Martyr and Jeremy Holden's expeditions into the heart of Karinsai Seblat National Park that the most compelling physical evidence to date emerged. After years of collecting anecdotal reports and witnessing blurry glimpses, in 1994, they stumbled upon something undeniable. A series of perfectly preserved footprints in the soft, muddy earth of the forest floor. These weren't ambiguous marks. They were clear, distinct impressions, undeniably bipedal, and unlike anything left by known Sumatran fauna. Jeremy Holden, with his keen eye for detail honed by years of tracking wildlife, was immediately struck. The prints measured about 6 to 7 inches in length, and critically they showed a wide, splayed first toe, clearly separated from the others, suggesting a powerful grasping foot, yet unmistakably designed for upright walking. This was not an ape dragging its knuckles, nor was it a human. The morphology was unique. They meticulously cast these footprints, preserving a moment of profound discovery. The casts themselves became powerful arguments for the existence of the Orang Pendek, offering a tangible connection to the elusive creature. The implications were immense. If these prints were genuine, it meant an unknown bipedal primate was walking the jungles of Sumatra. The scientific community, while intrigued, remained cautious. Footprints, while compelling, can be faked or misinterpreted. However, the consistent nature of these prints with eyewitness descriptions and the sheer difficulty of faking them in such remote, wild terrain lent them significant credibility. But wait, there's more. The trail didn't end with footprints. Around the same period, another tantalizing piece of evidence emerged: hair samples. Collected from thorny bushes or found clinging to trees where an Orang Pendek was reported to have passed, these samples were sent for microscopic and DNA analysis. While initial analyses were often inconclusive or attributed to known animals, some samples presented a genuine enigma. One such sample, examined by Dr. Hans Brunner, a leading expert in forensic hair analysis, showed characteristics that didn't match any known Sumatran animal, human or ape. The cuticular patterns and medullary structures were unique, hinting at an unknown primate species. While a full DNA sequence proved elusive, likely due to degradation in the harsh jungle environment, the morphological analysis was highly suggestive. This wasn't definitive proof on its own, but combined with the consistent eyewitness accounts and the extraordinary foot casts, it painted an increasingly vivid picture. The evidence wasn't just piling up. It was starting to form a coherent, tantalizing narrative. It challenged the prevailing scientific assumption that all large primates in Sumatra were already identified. It suggested the scientific textbooks were incomplete, that there was a chapter yet to be written. The elusive Orang Pendek, long relegated to myth, was inching closer to the realm of biological reality. The jungle wasn't just holding a secret, it was actively trying to tell us about it. And the story wasn't over, not by a long shot. Part 5. Modern mysteries and ongoing search *, the footprints and hair samples of the 1990s were a turning point, but they were by no means the end of the story. The Orang Pendek, ever the elusive ghost, continued to haunt the fringes of human perception, leading to an ongoing, dedicated search that bridges historical accounts with modern scientific methodology. The connection between the early Dutch colonial reports and the more recent expeditions is striking. The descriptions of the creature remain remarkably consistent over decades, even centuries, suggesting a stable population of an unknown species. Today, the search for the Orang Pendek continues with renewed vigor, driven by advancements in technology and a growing open-mindedness within certain scientific circles. Modern expeditions employ sophisticated tools that simply weren't available to early explorers. Remote camera traps, deployed deep within the Karinsai Seblet National Park and surrounding wilderness areas, are now the front line of the investigation. These motion-activated cameras lie in wait, silently observing, hoping to capture the definitive photographic or video evidence that has so far eluded researchers. Imagine the patience, the dedication, required to set these cameras in vast, dense jungle, only to retrieve them months later, hoping for a single frame that changes everything. Researchers are also exploring new avenues of investigation, including environmental DNA, or eDNA. This involves collecting samples from the environment, water, soil, or even leeches, and then analyzing them for traces of DNA left behind by organisms. If an Orang Pendek passes through a stream, its skin cells or hair might be shed into the water, potentially providing a DNA signature without ever directly encountering the animal. This passive, non-invasive method holds immense promise for detecting elusive creatures in vast, inaccessible habitats. Recent years have seen some intriguing, though still unconfirmed, developments. There have been reports of new, compelling footprint casts emerging from remote areas of Sumatra, consistent with previous findings, but exhibiting even greater detail. While these are still under scrutiny, they fuel the hope that further, incontrovertible evidence is just around the corner. The relentless pursuit by dedicated researchers like Richard Freeman of the Center for Fortean Zoology and local Indonesian naturalists continues to push the boundaries of discovery. They understand that the stakes are high. The confirmation of a new large primate species would be one of the most significant zoological discoveries of the century, forever altering our understanding of primate evolution and biodiversity. Would also highlight the urgent need for conservation of Sumatra's remaining wild places. The possibility of the Orang Pendek existing isn't just about a cryptozoological mystery. It's about the potential for an entire undiscovered lineage, a surviving hominid or ape that has managed to evade human detection in one of the world's most ancient and biodiverse ecosystems. This isn't just a quaint legend. It's a testament to the fact that our planet still holds profound secrets, just waiting to be unveiled. And the ongoing search reminds us that the wild, untamed corners of the earth still have the power to surprise, to shock, and to rewrite our understanding of life itself. The hunt for Sumatra's mystery primate continues, and with every passing year, the anticipation for that definitive piece of evidence grows. Part 6. A compelling conclusion *, so, where does that leave us with the Orang Pendek? We've journeyed through centuries of whispered legends, examined the compelling testimonies of seasoned explorers and skeptical scientists, and scrutinized tantalizing physical evidence, from the unique foot casts to enigmatic hair samples. We started this journey with a chilling encounter in the Sumatran night, a moment of profound uncertainty and primal fear. And as we conclude, that uncertainty still lingers, but it's now tinged with a powerful sense of possibility. The evidence, though circumstantial, forms a remarkably consistent narrative. A small, bipedal, ape-like creature, displaying intelligence and agility, leaving behind prints unlike any known animal. It's a story told repeatedly, independently, across cultures and generations. While a definitive photograph or a captured specimen remains the elusive holy grail, the sheer volume and consistency of the data are incredibly compelling. Dismiss the Orang Pendek entirely would be to ignore a significant body of eyewitness accounts and perplexing physical evidence that challenges conventional zoological understanding. What if the Orang Pendek is real? What if this mystery primate has managed to evade human science for so long, a ghost in the vast, dwindling forests of Sumatra? Its existence would not only represent